I had this idea to make this really robust video about streaming settings for single PC NVENC users, but then I realized a lot of streamers that are running NVENC on a single PC really don't want that. So I decided to condense this into just, these are the settings I use. We're going to just go through them really quickly to explain them in very simple terms, and we'll go from there. The great thing about NVENC is that no matter what card you're using in a certain series of NVIDIA, the stream performance from the encoder, I should say the encoding performance, which then ends up being put onto stream, is going to be identical. If you have an RTX card versus a GTX card, then yes, an RTX card will have better performance thanks to the new NVENC encoder that NVIDIA released maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago or something. I've spent way too much time. This was supposed to be a short video, so let's just get right into it. I have here pulled up on the right side the Bible for me of NVENC streaming, thanks to NVIDIA putting this out here. They basically go through everything you need to do to get the best performance out of your encoding, and I've tweeted this out before. I still don't think enough people know about it, so I'm going to make a video and make you look through it. We're going to start with video settings. For the most part, an affiliate streamer should be streaming at 1280 by 720p on 60 FPS. You can try Lanczos, Lanczos. I don't know how to say this stuff. You can try bicubic. Just do tests for yourself and see what looks better. That's the best thing about this. You can see in real time by just recording to your PC what your stream is gonna look like. So give it a try. See what works better for you. This is just what I do. 720, Lanczos, 60 FPS. For output, I go to advanced mode. Most people I see are running simple because, like I said before, you just don't want to be bothered to deal with all of this information. You'd rather just install the software, run the optimizer, and hit go live and not even think about it. But we're going to go advanced. Why not? You're going to be running the NVIDIA NVENC H.264 new encoder. Have enforce streaming service encoder settings checked. Your rate control for your streaming should be CBR. You'll want to set this at 5,000 bitrate, so 5,000 kbps bitrate, if you want the max bitrate performance for Twitch using 720p. If there are people that run into problems seeing your video, you can always drop this down to 4,500, 3,500, whatever it is, to make sure that you have 100% visibility on Twitch, which is going to help your growth. Keyframe interval. Keyframe interval. Set this at 2. Preset is max quality. If you're having stream problems, one of the quickest things you can do is just drop this down to quality and see if that fixes it. If you're ever going to be troubleshooting your stream, always try one thing different the next time and see what happens. Do not, please do not change a bunch of different settings and go in and say, I fixed it, because what you may have done is actually change something else, which is going to negatively affect the stream in the end. Always do one at a time. I'm sure there is some type of word for that, trial and error. So I leave that at max quality. Profile is high. Haven't had any issues with high profile from viewers. The only reason you might want to drop this to main is if you have people coming to your stream being like, I'm having trouble watching your stream, there's something going on. You could always try dropping that down to main. Look ahead is checked. Psycho visual tuning is checked. GPU is at 0, because you only got, most of the time you're only going to have one GPU. If you got 2 GPUs running, I'm jealous, but just leave it at 0 and it'll use the GPU. Max B frames at 4. Here's something that you can test. If you're running into some GPU issues with your stream, you can uncheck look ahead and change max B frames to 2. Just a very simple thing to do. Give it a try, see if that fixes your problem as well. Those are things that can work in tandem. So once we have all of these settings correct, we then move on to recording. Because you might want to record, like I am doing right now, recording from OBS, your scenes, you might want to record your stream just to have that to clip yourself in better quality than the clips that you get online. Now with recording, you don't want to use the stream encoder, because the stream encoder is based on streaming, right? It's not based on recording video to have a hard copy of. It's supposed to go into the cloud. It's not really supposed to be saved for anything. You're supposed to see it live, and that's it. Recording, we want to do a standard type recording, save it to wherever you want to save it to, and then recording format MKV or FLV is going to be your best bet. FLV does not allow multiple audio inputs, so if you have multiple audio inputs, don't use FLV, use MKV. Turn off Stream Encoder and go to NVENC H.264 New. So it's going to use the same encoder, but not the same settings, because we want two different things. One's for stream, one's for recording. CQP is the rate control you want. If you remember, CBR is what we use for streaming. I set my CQ level to 15. Keyframe interval I can't say that word. Keyframe interval. Set it to 2. Preset is max quality again. Profile high, and then you can have look ahead checked with 4 max B frames, or look ahead unchecked with 2 max B frames. We want psychovisual tuning on. And that's it. The only other thing I can think of changing is if you're having trouble and you're running at 48 kilohertz audio under the audio settings, you could drop that down to 44.1 kilohertz sample rate. That might help a little bit with performance. And hit apply, and boom, you're done. You've just set up your stream to correctly use NVENC on a single PC stream with maximum performance. But there's one more thing. This is the most important thing that you can do for your stream if you're running NVENC. And it is, you may have heard of this, run OBS in administrator mode. Something that not everybody knows about. And more often than not, if you're dropping frames, that might be the first thing to check, and the first fix could solve it all. The quickest way to set up OBS or slobs to run as an administrator is to find the icon on your desktop, so OBS Studio, right click on it, click Properties, Compatibility, and run this program as an administrator. This should be checked. Hit apply, is set up OBS to run as administrator, which will prioritize OBS over your game. You might think, well, wait, that's gonna give my gameplay a lot of issues. I'm gonna lose a lot of FPS if I do that. And you're not really going to. For the most part, if your GPU, especially if you limit your frames, is maxing out around 85 to 90%, there's already going to be enough GPU space left to use NVENC. But if not, the hit you're going to lose is a minute percentage of frames. And you'd probably lose more frames, especially if you're running on a mid-tier to low-tier CPU, trying to run X264 anyways. Because CPU and GPU work in tandem to get those high frame rates. Sometimes people forget that. It's not just your GPU trying to cook it all up to make some type of, I don't know, stew that's a metaphor for gaming that I wish I didn't start trying to come up with. Let me know if this helped you. Maybe if you have any problems, if anyone you know is having issues, and maybe they're running X264 very fast, super fast, and their quality just doesn't look great, you could recommend this video for them to set up NVENC usage. This works for any NVIDIA GPU, GTX, RTX, 10 series, 16 series, 20 series. It's the most foolproof way to get a good looking stream. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's not better than X264 Medium. It's just not. There might be any information out there with people saying that it is. It's not. So that's for another video, which I'm sure someone else could make. Best single PC stream settings for X264 encoding. And I'd love to see what the differences are, you know, what the setup is like. That's all I have to say about that. So, see ya.